Okay. Okay. Welcome to Talking Shh. Watch your mouth with Khalil Anthony. Talking shit with Khalil Anthony. Today's guest we have Brother Aten. Brother, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Peace.
Can't complain. I can't complain. It's Thursday, right? So I'm good. So my first question is, where are you currently?
I'm in Brooklyn, Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. And I've asked you this before, but I just want to ask for other people, like, how's it going where you live? Um,
It's I mean, you know, I don't know, man. It's the things I see on the news, on TV, and on social media look bad. But when
right.
I walk out in the street every day, it looks fine, you
Right.
know. And I talk to people all the time. I rode my bike to Manhattan to pick up some electronics from a store a week and a half ago, and on my way back, I saw some dudes had like kind of like broken into a soccer field that had been closed off. They had gated it, and they got in and they were playing, and there was like some homeless people outside watching, and I stopped and I chilled with them, and I was talking to the one guy who he's telling me his son is an Olympic cyclist, but he but we were just talking about everything, no mask, no gloves,
Mm.
regular talking distance, and it's just those are the kind of experiences that I have, in New York, and going down the street, seeing like old dudes with a table outside of a bodega playing playing domino or cards or something with masks on, sitting there playing dominoes, chilling.
Right.
Or like I was uh I was riding my bike through the city or through Brooklyn, Bed-Stuy, and I saw there was one woman with a big speaker playing some salsa music,
Mm.
kind of like coaching two other older people that were dancing with each other, wearing masks, dancing with each other. And then there was like a couple of people standing on the side watching, wearing masks. But it's just like I don't know. That's life to me. Like
Yeah.
that's real. That's what you really see in real neighborhoods. When you go into there's certain neighborhoods you go into weird. Like I was in Prospect Park, or no, I was in Fort Greene,
Okay.
chilling one night, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I start hearing clapping all around,
Mm.
like from windows and like people on the street, just like weird shit that creeps you out. You know what I'm saying? And then come to find out, there's some sort of weird, like, every night at 7 o'clock, we're just gonna clap because of the health workers.
Oh.
And it's like, like, like that stuff to me is weird. That's not like that's like robot shit. That's not like regular people shit. But when I see like people playing cards and like and congregating in a regular human way, you know what I'm saying? That when I see that feels right to me.
Yeah.
But that other stuff is weird. So it's like two things going on.
Yeah.
There's like this social media facsimile world, people doing weird things and hearing all these crazy reports, and cops going into neighborhoods and beating people, and then I see weird shit too, like that, and I see weird things like you know people doing weird things at bars and in parks, and you see weird things, but you see like regular stuff too. It's
Right.
cool. It's all right though.
Okay. Are you from New York?
Originally, but I did not grow up here.
Okay.
I grew up all around um Maryland and North Carolina and stuff mainly.
Okay. Um, when did you start doing music?
Um, it's kind of in phases, man. Like when I was a kid, like I don't even remember when I started singing,
Mm.
but like I was like trained, and I used to be a soloist in the Baltimore County Chorus when I was a youth, and I also played the trombone,
Okay.
learned a little guitar, but I quit all of that stuff right before my teenage years, or right into my teenage years, because I just wasn't. I was like, that's not tough. and then uh, and then I didn't, and I around in the. I also like learned from my cousin in the early days of like computers and the internet to make music with software.
Okay.
Um, Back then, they used to call it like MIDI music, but I used to mess around with stuff like that when I was a kid as well. But then I quit, and then I started rapping in high school, and and then I started producing because I didn't have any beats,
Mm.
and but my mind has just always been elsewhere. So once I started producing, man, it just started taking me further and further away from just rapping, you know what I mean? And then, and everything starts to come full circle, Now I sing, and I all that stuff, and I produce and stuff again. So
Yo. So I've asked everybody the same question, and one is like, how did we meet? Do you remember how we met? We have never physically met. This is one thing I want to say real quick that's interesting around music, right? Like a lot of people I do music with, I've never met them. With you, I've seen your face more times than we've talked. Some people I've never even talked to them before. But yeah, do you remember how we met?
I think like I just heard of you from Eric through African Sciences, and like most other people, like I've heard of a lot of people through him, and then I think once I got on IG, started following you, we started following each other, and just kind of built up a relationship through that. One thing that's funny about that is most of the people that I know nowadays, like most of my friends now, I met online and knew them online first before in person, which is crazy.
It's a trip because when you hear people talk about online and just meeting, like most of the time people talk about like relationships or whatever, but like no one really talks about these types of relationships, right? Like you meet people, you're like, oh, okay, I'm vibing what you do, I check out your stuff, and then we collaborate, which I think that's going into the next question. So I'm doing these interviews with producers who worked on the last project of mine, which comes out June 9th, Scarab. And I've asked these people too, like, what interested you at first with this project? When I wrote you, I think I wrote you a message and was like, yo, let's do something.
Man, I remember everything's like mad long stories for me, but like
it's cool.
When Eric put me on to like you and a bunch of people that he had been working with and that he's that in his circle, I was just like, man, everybody's got just all these crazy styles, like unique styles, unique sounds, and like you have a voice that in a style, like when you write, it's just like I can't think of anybody else who sounds anything like that. It's different. And so then when you hit me up, like I think I had been wanting to do more like remixes and work with more artists and things like that. And when you hit me up, I was like, hell yeah, like I'd love to see what I can do, because I kind of I use the word distort. It's not really distort, but I like working with other people's material, because there's no way for me not to take it through whatever filter is going on in my head, and it comes out sounding like it sounds. Like I don't intend for it to, but it just, and so I'm always interested to see what's gonna happen if I mess around with someone else's sound, and what happens to that. And I just think it was interesting. It was a real interesting, real cool experience for me. So yeah, when you told me about it, I was like, yeah, I already know I wanted to work with you.
That's dope. I mean, it's likewise, because I know you. I think I heard some of your stuff on Deep Black, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I mean that whole camp to me, I've always just been like, where are we? Where are you guys at? Like I want to come to that planet. How do we get to that planet? And I've gotten to work with a few of you all. And then the thing that's been awesome about all of this is like, so we are both a part of a collective called Woodwork Collective. And I was going to ask you if you could share what our group is about. Because, I mean, they've heard me talk about it before. But since I think, so you and Zola are new members in the group and have brought like tremendous energy to, I think, what we've been doing. And it just feels like we're just in step together. So I just want to hear some of your words around, being a part of that group now.
To me, I mean, for me, like, because I moved around a lot and I'm an only child, and and all of that stuff, I've always just been like, I came out just on some other shit, you know what I mean? And like since day one, and so it's always been hard for me to find other people that I felt like were on a wave that I felt myself on, and even harder to find people that look like me, you know what I'm saying? Right. But not just, but also even on a deeper level, but share a similar mindset that I have about the world, about music, about culture. And I feel like Woodwork Collective is one of those, is an organization. Like, I heard about all of you through Eric, and Eric is one of those people that I always felt like knew what, like, he's a few steps ahead, like, you know what I mean? Like when I hear about stuff from him, it's like, and so Woodwork Collective is one of those things that I kind of learned about you all in that same vein. I was like, man, it definitely represents like freedom and futurism, and to me the most important part, which is the full expression of Black music and of Black art and of Black thought and thinking, not just one thing, not for the purposes of getting to a bag or something like that, but for true expression and growth of the spirit. And I feel like that's what it's about.
That's dope. You made me think about what we were just talking about earlier. We were talking about a lot of different things before we started this, but there's something you said that was really great about, there's an analogy of an artist, or was it an analogy of, what was the analogy you shared? I thought it was really brilliant.
About the sun?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just give everybody a little blah, blah, blah. We were just talking about, we are artists, and I think sometimes, that is a position that isn't as celebrated as you think it is, right? When I hear the word artist, I'm like, woo, I go somewhere else. But I think in our society today, we have akin that to commodification and somebody who can make money for you and all these different things. Money's not bad, I'm not saying that, but people are being used, opposed to, their artistry is being used to take something else, opposed to this artist being shown. And I think I akined it to like religion, and then you brought up this cool analogy. If you don't mind sharing. Yeah, man.
And it's something, I mean, I didn't make it up. It's something I heard. I can't remember where I heard of it, but it's, and art is the same thing, because we're all looking for the truth, or a deeper level of truth, or something that's very real and something that's very deep within us. And religions seek to show you what that thing is. Art also does that, or artists also do that, and it's like a finger pointing at the sun. Like you're not meant to stare at the finger. You're meant to stare at the thing that the finger is pointing you at. But we tend to focus a lot on the thing rather than what it's trying to show you. And in religion's case, we focus on the religion or on the prophet rather than the message. And with art, we focus a lot on the artist rather than what they're trying to show you through their work. Yeah, and it's just, you know, as artists, it puts us in a weird position because we have to eat, and so, you know, if people are doing a lot of staring at us, then we have to sort of turn ourselves into a thing that can help us eat versus just being able to create, you know, for the purpose of sharing some information or some feeling with others, you know. Which is interesting. Some people figure out how to do both, but, you know, some artists are able to turn themselves into the piece, you know. And if you can do that, but a lot of us are just, you know, we don't want to be a spectacle. We just want to create something and share it.
How would you describe yourself as an artist? Like, what is your artistry?
My artistry is like, there's a whole world that lives in my mind that to me is real. To me is the real world. And it is also a reflection of the world that we live in. And everything in it means something. And so my art, and the reason that I like make work under a lot of different aliases, and the reason why I make different types of work and cross genres and mediums is because there's a whole world in there and everything means something. So I have to get it all. It's got to all come out. And so for me, it's all interpretation. Like, when I make music with no words, that music is the mood or the feel, the texture of the world. When I, you know, if I tell a story, that story, you know, means something. Those are metaphors. Those are, you know, if it's a straight critique or just a, you know, more of a straight ahead sort of lyrics or a straight ahead story, or if it's poetry or, you know, or anything, you know, everything. If we're working with video, if it's, you know, whatever it is, it all is a part of this larger message, this larger story.
I love that. I got a couple more questions for you. So what are some of these aliases? What are you working on right now, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Brother Aten is my main project, and that's mostly electronic production. It's also I also do some composing and stuff for theater and dance when I get a chance. Every time I get a chance, I really enjoy that. The Nakoma Void is a project that I'm in, that I collaborate with, and that is, it's sort of a different side of this thing that's going on in my mind, and it's a little bit darker, a little edgier, more closely related to like cold wave or synth wave than like dance music with Brother Aten. And then I still every once in a while still do work as mathematics as a part of the group Endangered Species, which is rap music, and I still put some stuff out here and there. I've kind of slowed down on that, not so much as interested in rapping anymore.
You touched this when we were talking earlier too, and it just popped in my head. So I was gonna ask why. How come you're not rapping anymore?
There's a few reasons. Like there's, you know, we only have one life, and there's really only in a lot of, and if you think about like what rap music is. Just like with house is fairly limited of, or any specific genre is very limited in what can happen until you cross over into a different genre, you know. I mean, you can do whatever you like as an artist, but
Right.
you know, but it's only gonna be one thing for so long. And so after a time, man, I don't make, like I didn't start making rap music or hip hop music because no one else was making it. I started making it because I loved it and I was a fan and I wanted to contribute to it as well. So I would never, I don't like when other artists do this, hip hop artists. I'm a bit of a purist, so I don't like when people take it too far, you know. Uh, and so at a certain point, I feel like I only had, I didn't really have anything else to say in that genre. So I still write, but I don't write in that way. I don't write in that form. You know, a lot of stuff that I write is meant to be sung, and I sing it in a different genre. You know, that's with the Coma Void, or maybe with Brother Aten, which I've sang on some releases, and even, I mean, you know, I write stuff that sounds like rap, you know, like I'm rapping, you know, on a track, but it's just not the same thing. So so I don't release it. You know, if I release some mathematics stuff, it's because I feel like it fits within that genre. It's going to be a certain persona, a certain vibe that's going to come off, which to me doesn't really fit in some other genres. I'm one of those people that really I never really liked the like rock rap crossovers, or the rock or the rap and electronic music crossovers. I've done it. Like I've in it, but that's just not really my thing, you know what I'm saying? I'm more of a, you know, I like the more stripped down beats. You know, I like some of the stuff that people are doing now. So yeah, it's just, you know, it's just one of those things, you know. And when I feel the vibe, I still will make something, you know. But like I've got speaking of releases, I have the Nakoma Void just released something, a single, and an EP is coming. And Brother Aten, I've got some things going on with Zola, she's another member of the Woodwork Collective, and then I also have some stuff with some other brothers on a compilation that we're putting together, a lower component compilation. And you know, I have other things coming with Brother Aten, but then I also have there's a compilation album called Hard Drugs. It's on its way out. Oh, wow. And that's a big compilation with a lot of dope rappers in the game right now, and I'm on that as well, you know, as mathematics. So, you know, I've got things coming out in every lane. You know, it's just the rap stuff isn't really the focus right now.
Dope. How can people hear your music? Where can people hear the single that came out? Some, you know, like websites, or are you playing live? Just share some stuff with
people. Maybe IG live, but
oh right. Not, I meant like live online.
Yeah, you know, if the best way to find all of my stuff, like anything that you want, is just my website is the same as my Instagram name. It's maphisunavailable.com, and there I have links.
MAT or MAF?
MAF. MAF is unavailable.com, and from there you can find. I mean, you can find link. It's got, you know, it's kind of like a portfolio. So it's got every section that you might want to take a look at, and there's links to it, and you find me on Spotify and everything like that. And I've got links to all that stuff there, so it's good. I just updated yesterday, so we're all, you know, up to date.
That's dope. And I guess, you know, last question: is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
Um, nah, not really, man. I just hope everybody's safe
That's
and
important.
stay patient and don't sit on your heels, man. Stay on your toes because the world is changing. It pivots quick. So that's it. Other
Thank you
than
for
that,
that. So thank you, Matt, for being on the show. I mean, Brother Aten, I can say all the names, but thank you so much for being here. That was talking watch your mouth with Khalil Anthony. Talking shit with Khalil Anthony. Have a good day.
peace.
Thank you, brother.